Stacey's murder goes unsolved for nearly a year. The cops are ostensibly looking at Jimmy and maybe in a couple other directions, but nothing's really happening.
1996 was an election year. Richard Hernandez won the position of the Bastrop County Sheriff. Hernandez announced that he would solve the murder of Stacey Stites within 6 months of taking office.
Richard Hernandez seizes on the Stites case, and this investigation begins to speed up. Wardlow is looking for a DNA match. That's the smoking gun.
Linda Schluter was another woman who was about 19 who had been abducted and beaten.
Linda Schluter was at this payphone in Bastrop, and there's a man who's kind of bothering her.
And he picked up the payphone next to the payphone I was on. He proceeded to ask me if he could get a ride. And he said, "I'm gonna freeze to death." I felt bad, so I said, "Fine, I'll give you a ride." Once we took a ride on Main Street, he started to get out, and he got back in really quick, and he said, "Don't I get a hug?" And the next thing I know, he grabs me by the back of my hair with his left hand and proceeds to slam my face into my steering wheel.
There's an incredible fight happening in the car. She basically gets away, and this guy takes her car and drives and then sort of crash abandons it somewhere down the road.
Deputies arrived, took her into Bastrop. They photographed her injuries. They took a statement.
I described the man that I gave a ride to. The police automatically knew who he was. They presented 6 African Americans on a piece of paper. This is the one who attacked me. The police told me that his name was Rodney Reed.
Mr. Reed was arrested, and later he was released without posting a bond. He was just released.
The way in which Linda Schluter was attacked really lent itself to the police narrative of how Stacey Stites was attacked.
Rodney Reed surfaced as a suspect wholly and exclusively because he tried to abduct Linda 6 months after Stacey's murder, and a detective told the ranger about the case, and the ranger said, "Oh my God, that sounds like the Stites case."
Rocky Wardlow, the lead investigator from the Texas Rangers, he's wondering, do we have Rodney Reed's DNA on file? And it turns out they did have a sample of Rodney Reed's DNA in the system.
Because he had been involved with a woman in 1995 in some sort of a relationship.
And she alleged that Rodney Reed had sexually assaulted her in her apartment. I responded and conducted a crime scene investigation.
She ultimately declines to pursue charges against Reed, and that case is kind of dropped, but the police retain this biological evidence.
Texas Ranger Rocky Wardlow, he requested that the serologist take the DNA off a washcloth and various other items collected in October 1995 and compare it to the DNA collected off Stacey Stites' body.
It was a match. They found that Rodney Reed's DNA is identical to the DNA evidence recovered from Stacey's body.
My name is Sandra Reed, and I am Rodney Reed's mother. Richard Hernandez, the sheriff, and the city police came to the house, and I knew Richard before he even became sheriff. And they were looking for Rodney. Rodney was not there. So I said, "Richard," I said, "what is this for?" Well, me, I'm thinking, it's drugs. Well, look, Richard, I said, now, people know Rodney don't sell drugs. He's not a drug dealer. He said, "I know, Sandra." He said, "But that's what they got." So, sure enough, Rodney came home. And I said, "Well, buddy, and get you some warm clothes, because I'm taking you to jail."
So they basically get Rodney into the police station, on a drug-related charge. But it all seems pretty much kind of a ruse in order to ask him about Stacey.
I don't sell no drugs. So what are we talking about?
Well, let me read you your rights and stuff first, Rodney, and then we'll get off into that.
Oh, so what we're talking about is different than what...
Yeah, that drug case, I just want to kind of push it off to the sides. Of course, you know that I'm one of the investigators on the Stacey Stites murder. You're one of the many, many people that we have talked to regarding this case. Talking with you was really nothing unusual. What I want to know from you is if you know this girl, and if you do, when did you meet her? Have you ever met her? Or do you even know who she is?
No, I do not. I don't know what Stacey Stites. I've seen that stuff on the news and stuff like that, but I don't know that person.
Never dated her?
No, I haven't.
What I would like to get from you, if you don't mind, is a written statement stating that I don't know this Stacey Stites. Do you have a problem with that?
No, I don't.
And along with the statement, what I'd like to do is, if it's okay with you, is to get a sample of your blood, get some saliva samples and some hair samples, so that we can compare that with some of the stuff that we already have.
I don't mind doing anything, but I'd like to have a lawyer, an attorney, you know, to back me up on what I'm doing, you know.
Well, I understand. That's perfectly all right.
Okay. No, David.
Yeah.
All this here, this stuff here, am I being charged with something?
We'll visit with you later about that.
By the time the questioning is over, Rodney is charged with the murder of Stacey Stites.
He stated that he was afraid. He was aware that Stacey was dead, and he was a black male having sex with a white girl in Bastrop.
Stacey Stites was white. Rodney Reed was black. Rodney lived in Texas long enough to know what that meant.
Free Rodney Reed! No! Free Rodney Reed!
This case is about to draw big attention to the small town of Bastrop.
He has some high-profile names coming to his defense now.
And spark what many believe will be a long road to justice.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.